Detroit just pulled a lever nobody saw coming. Phones lit up, boards shifted, and the entire NFC took notice. If you think the Lions were already rolling, hold on, because what's forming behind closed doors could change how January football looks in the city. There's a locker room spark, a front office move simmering, and a brutal test lined up on the schedule. It's not hype. It's timing. And timing is everything. You can feel it in the little things. Coaches speaking with fewer words, but more intent. Veterans staying late to clean up technique. Young guys asking for extra film instead of extra praise. That's the signal before the storm. When the building starts acting like it knows something big is about to break. Today, I'm going to stitch those signs together so you see the full picture, the football picture. Here's my promise. I'll show you why the defense suddenly looks tougher at the point of attack, who stepped into a role most thought was out of gas, what the front office is weighing at the trade window, and how the next opponent exposes every weakness if you're not precise. I'll lay out the upside, the cost, and the honest risk. No empty mystery boxes. No lazy buzzwords. Clear football talk. Welcome back to Lions News Fan Report. Tap subscribe, ring the bell, and drop a like so this breakdown hits every Detroit diehard before kickoff. Around here, we don't chase clout. We chase clarity. If you're part of that, your family. Introduction. Detroit's defense has been living on the edge by design. Fast, violent, and swarming. But injuries and depth tests always show up in this league like bad weather. That's when culture matters. When one thread snaps, the whole fabric either tears or tightens. Ours tightened. An unlikely veteran lit the fuse. Al-Qaeda Muhammad went from insurance piece to tone setter. Not just splash plays discipline at the edge, smart angles, and snaps that look the same in the first quarter as they do in the fourth. That consistency is gold when the schedule gets mean. He's playing like a pro who heard the clock ticking and decided it. Won't strike midnight on his watch. That is Dan Campbell football. Brad Holmes bets on hunger and wiring, not headlines. You can see it on the sideline and in the huddle guys who don't blink. And when a locker room buys in like this, a front office can get bold. Because bold moves land when the foundation is honest. So, yes, trade smoke is in the air. Not the cheap kind. The strategic kind. Detroit has capital, patience, and a clear identity. If a deal fits the film in the future, this regime will push. But it has to match the timeline of a team aiming at February, not just October applause. That's why this next piece matters as much as the final score on Sunday. You've waited long enough. From here on out, we say it straight. The move on the board is a blockbuster pursuit. Detroit exploring a trade for defensive tackle Jeffrey Simmons. That's the headline living rent-free in every war room that has watched our tape the last 2 weeks. Interior force meets edge terror. Pocket collapse meets edge finish. If it gets traction, it's the kind of swing that forces the rest of the NFC to redraw their protection plans overnight. Why Simmons? He wrecks plays from the inside out. He doesn't just win reps, he changes reads. Guards get walked back, centers get turned, and quarterbacks feel bodies at their knees before roots hit depth. Pair that with Aiden Hutchinson's motor, and you've got a two-man truth serum. Offenses can chip the edge or double the bully inside, but not both, not for 60 minutes. Now the adult part, cost. Premium talent costs premium picks and premium dollars. Detroit would be marrying his impact to a cap sheet that already needs to account for Hutchinson's future deal and the core we're building. You don't do this unless the structure works for 3 seasons, not 3 weeks. If it can be layered front office chess, not checkers, it's a needle mover. If not, you pivot. There are fallback paths. Trey Hendrickson gives you bankable pressure and postseason experience at the edge if interior prices go silly. A younger upside swing thing, a miscast top pick needing the right room, can be unlocked in Detroit's structure. The point is, the Lions aren't window shopping. They know exactly what this defense needs in money downs. Crush the pocket center and make throws. arrive a half-second early. Meanwhile, the offense? It's a machine. Jared Goff is operating with quiet authority, ball out on time, play action biting, checks turning good looks into great ones. David Montgomery brings the sledgehammer. Jahmyr Gibbs brings the match. Together they keep coordinators honest. That balance is why Detroit controls games. The next test, though, is a backyard brawl. The Cleveland Browns front makes you earn every inch. Myles Garrett changes math on every snap. You don't beat that with slogans. You beat it with spacing, cadence, and backs that run through first contact. That's where a Simmons-type acquisition echoes twice. First on defense, more short fields, more 3rd and 11s, more momentum. Second, on offense, when your front seven steals a possession, Ben Johnson can script a kill shot. Complementary football is not a phrase here. It's how this team breathes. And even if a deal never crosses the line, the message is already out there. Detroit is acting like a contender because it is won. Let's be adults about risk. Big trades miss sometimes. Chemistry can wobble. Contracts can box you in. But there's also risk in standing still when your window is opening. The Lions have earned the right to explore the kind of move that makes January feel smaller for the other guy. That's what good teams do when belief is real. Zoom back to Sunday. The plan is simple, not easy. Offense: steal first downs with tempo, punish light boxes, and make the Browns tackle for 4 quarters. Defense: squeeze the A-gaps, force bailout throws to the boundary, and let our rush hunt in obvious pass downs. Special teams: flip one field. Do those 3, and the scoreboard tells the truth. However this week shakes out, the bigger story is the standard. Detroit's not chasing permission anymore. It's setting the pace. From Allen Park to every living room in this city, you can feel a calm, confident urgency. That's the sweet spot. Your turn. Would you push for a Simmons-type trade if the structure makes sense? Or would you hold picks and protect the cap for extensions? Do you want another interior monster now? Or would you add a veteran edge and trust the current DT rotation? And against Cleveland, what's your first call-heavy run to soften them or shots early to force them off their spot? Tell me below. This channel isn't a monologue. It's Detroit talking to Detroit. My personal take. The aggressive version of this team is the best version. If the numbers line up and the room stays the room, I go for the interior upgrade. But until a deal is signed, all this is still a well-reasoned speculation, not a confirmed move.